What's up, y'all? Today is a special day for me because I finally got brave, started this channel. This is a channel specifically dedicated to me documenting my life. Now, I'm not new to content creation. I'm not even new to YouTube, but starting this channel is very important to me. Let me give you some context. Back in 2012, I bought my first camera. And just like everybody else, when I bought that camera, my intention was to become a world famous photographer. I started off just walking around, taking pictures of anything, going to events and just taking pictures, just creating art. And it was beautiful. I fell in love with it and I started collecting lenses and just fell in love with the art of photography. And then the worst thing that could have possibly happened. Somebody called me and wanted to pay me to do a photo shoot. I can recall just thinking, yo, I cannot believe I'm actually getting paid to take photos of people, to give direction. It was just what I thought was heaven. And then someone called me back. They called me and they said, hey, the photos that you sent were great. Can you send me all the rest of the photos? They called me and said, hey, did you get any other photos in that batch? They would call me and say, hey, you sent me some great photos, but did you actually edit these photos? And it was baffling to me because I was taking all the time to edit those photos. I was taking all the time to cull and get what I believed as a photographer were the best photos, and people were never happy. And it just jaded me. It made me think I don't want to take photos for people in their vanity. I want to make art. So I decided to go create something else. The next thing I did is I started doing a little bit of video. So I made a web series. I had a group of people together, close friends, colleagues, co-workers, and we went out and just had a ton of fun and just shot this web series. And it started to get a lot of attention. From a content creation or YouTube standpoint, we started to make episodes that were getting 30, 40,000 views. One by one, I just started losing both the characters that were in that web series and the drive it took to accumulate the people and the time and get together and make that web series. And eventually it went away. So now I was jaded for the second time. This time I was jaded with not wanting to depend on people. So I didn't want to create my art for money for other people, and I didn't want to have to depend on other people for me to create art. So I started shooting music videos. I figured, hey, that's just me and I can give artistic direction. Now I was shooting those music videos for free. I was just picking close friends who I knew were musicians and I would say, hey, let me do you a favor, let's make some dope art. And that ended up being so fun and my creativity spiked, and a lot of those music videos were very, very popular, and they also were getting multi-thousands of views. And then something happened. People started calling me to pay me to shoot their music videos. Now, next thing you know, I started getting so popular for shooting music videos and I started getting paid a ton that I got super, super cocky. I uprooted my whole entire family from Boston, Mass, moved to Atlanta to chase my dream, quite possibly being the #1 music video director in Black Hollywood. And when I first got there, I'm not gonna lie, things took off. I was in studios making dope content with dope people. I was getting newspaper interviews. I was getting magazine interviews, and I was thinking, hey, I have found my calling and this might just be the thing that takes me to the next level. And then, boom, the pandemic came.
Brian Kemp falling short of a full state shutdown, instead ordering a shelter in place only for those who are medically fragile.
When that pandemic came, it was just an instantaneous stop. It was like someone just hit the brakes, studios closed, phones stopped ringing, nobody kept calling, and by the time things opened back up, no one was willing to pay the same price that they had been paying for me to shoot their music video. So there I was, way in Atlanta, thousands of miles away from what I was used to, and I was just sitting around doing absolutely nothing. Cameras were starting to collect dust. And I thought maybe it's time to pivot. You know, that world famous pandemic pivot. So you know what I did? I made another YouTube channel, and this time I started talking about gear. I would make reviews about lenses, reviews about cameras. I would give advice, and that started picking up. I mean, I started getting thousands of views on certain videos there as well. And then one day I woke up and figured out I was not making art anymore. I was literally just accumulating gear for the sake of talking about gear, but never using the gear to make the art that I started off dreaming about making. So you know what I did? All that gear that I accumulated, I just really thought, what do you need out of all this gear? What do you do? you like to vlog, so I went and kept one lens exclusively for vlogging. You might like to shoot some music video type work of artistic work for free for somebody that you think is dope. So I kept one lens exclusively for that. And then obviously I started this thing off in photography, shooting portraits. So I kept one lens exclusively for that, just in case I decide to do that exclusively for art. So I went from a guy who had 7 to 10 lenses to a guy who only owned 3 lenses, and each lens was for one specific reason. I had learned myself over the course of years, and I understood what I like to do when I like to do it, which leads me here today. This channel is exclusively about me doing 2 things: documenting my life, but doing it artistically, allowing me to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But if you're into this sort of thing, whether it's just me living life, talking to this camera the way that we're talking now, whether you want to learn a little bit when it comes to camera tech, whether you want to learn a little bit when it comes to vlogging, what things you need to get your successful vlogs, whether you want to see the behind the scenes when I do decide to shoot another music video, if you like that sort of thing, come along with me because I'm just getting started. This is me. This is Mike in 24 Frames.